I have a theory, and I want to talk about it in today's video, so let's just go ahead and do that. Yeah, guys, I have a theory about WrestleMania Night 1 ending up in complete chaos, if I'm being 100% transparent and honest. Oh, Billy, why do you say that? Well, I have this idea in my head, and it starts with something that my friend Ingo and I talked about. If you guys go back to our live stream, I want to say it was about a week and a half ago, we talked about the potential of Seth Rollins actually ending up with Paul Heyman. Now, I'm aware of what's happened on Twitter. This thing has made its rounds. Now, I want to say I have to preface Ango in this video because Ango is the one who I believe fully started this. He was the one who came up with this idea in his head, and I looked at him and I said, man, I think that might actually work. And then a couple tweets went viral, not of his, of other people's, but just remember where it happened first. So in that video, Ango explained that Paul Heyman would actually join Seth Rollins at the end of the night. Well, I have a couple things that I want to add on to that. Because if you guys remember, a while back, there was three gentlemen that were very, very mad at the quote-unquote bloodline. And who were those three gentlemen? It was Drew McIntyre, Kevin Owens, and Seth Rollins. Their hatred towards the bloodline was immaculate. Like, it was beyond belief, if I'm being quite transparent. These two guys were heated. Now, the one thing in WWE that we haven't seen a lot of, but we've gotten a lot of, is factions, right? Some of the new or the older factions, like the Judgment Day, the Bloodline, they've kind of ran thin, or the Final Testament, whatever. We've known that factions have completely made their rounds. Well, my idea here is that Paul Heyman is actually going to be running a new faction. And who does that faction entail? Well, my guess is it's going to be Kevin Owens, Drew McIntyre, and Seth Rollins. The reason why that is because of Roman Reigns. Everybody is sick of Roman, including Paul Heyman. So it would make sense for Paul to quote-unquote manage or lead this faction. Seth Rollins has been in need of some kind of change to his character. I get it. A lot of people love the crazy looks that he does and this, that, and the third. People love it. It's kind of ran thin, right? Like, it's starting to run dry. The next being Kevin Owens. Kevin Owens has been so sick of everybody who has turned their back on him to, whether it be join Roman, think like Roman, whatever. Kevin has been completely furious by it. And now WWE just announced that Roman is again going to be in a triple threat match between Seth and Punk in what I think is going to be the main event of night 1, if I'm just being 100% honest. So Kevin is obviously going to be very, very fed up with the idea that Roman is getting another main event at WrestleMania. It's just another chapter in the Bloodline storyline where Roman is just always going to be that top guy. And the thing about it is all of these guys are top guys, but nothing like Roman. Right? So Drew McIntyre is another person who offers a lot to this story. Obviously, Drew McIntyre is currently feuding with Damian Priest, and that whole situation and how that plays out with, Drew McIntyre going back in his past, kind of how Damian Priest has always kind of gotten his way. I actually am a fan of that storyline. I'm not going to lie to you guys. But I have to sit up and say that Drew's biggest problem is with the bloodline. It's with Jey Uso. It's with Jimmy Uso. It's with Roman Reigns. So everybody is completely fed up with Roman. And there is no better way for this story to take a halt or a turn than to make a faction that has nothing to do with the bloodline, because they did it with the bloodline 2.0 or whatever. But again, that was just more of the bloodline just kind of being introduced into the WWE world. Now this is a faction of people that Roman has done wrong. If you can't beat them, you got to join together. You got to join forces to go out and finally get rid of them. Do the job that you really want to do. And I think that's the story that WWE is going to play here, is they are eventually going to try and dismantle what Roman has done and take back WWE in some sort of way, right? Because Roman has been running rampant through WWE for the last, 5 years, going on 6. This guy has been running rampant. Now, the only thing that I leave skeptical here and that I kind of question a little bit is the favor of CM Punk and what his involvement might be. Because my guess is CM Punk is going to just continue on his run right now, where I think eventually you'll see CM Punk in the title picture. I think that is something that WWE wants to get to. So I think he will kind of fizzle out of this, maybe go feud with Cody or go feud with Jey Uso or whoever wins the titles, right? Or John Cena. You know what I mean? And same applies with Randy Orton. I think Randy Orton will be another person, especially if John Cena wins the title. I think you'll see CM Punk. I think you'll see Randy Orton. Those guys go face John Cena on his farewell tour for the title. And that leaves Cody in a position. He's also going to try and fend back for the championship, et cetera, et cetera. But my idea here is that Roman Reigns has just rubbed everybody so wrong that they're going to do anything in their power to get rid of him. So, like Angle said back on that live show that we did, it does end with Paul Heyman and Seth Rollins. But my guess here is that it also ends with Drew McIntyre and Kevin Owens standing tall, beating down on all of them, right? You have to think of Kevin Owens and CM Punk's history. You have to think of Drew McIntyre and CM Punk's history. It would only make sense that these guys would attack the two people that they genuinely hate. They all hate this gentleman. All three of them. Both gentlemen. So my theory here is that we will see a new faction at the end of at least night one of WrestleMania. And I think it's going to be chaotic. I think it's going to be exciting. And I think it's going to be new. Because here's the thing. A lot of the times in factions, you don't get top guys all the way through. You get some new up-and-coming stars, and you get the one top guy. But here, it looks to be a little bit different. It looks like the potential is all three of these top guys could just be so fed up that they're like, all right, we have to join forces. We have to, because we have to stop whatever this is. And Paul running the show makes so much sense. Paul Heyman being the guy in this situation, it's like, number one, he needs something new to do. And by the way, you could bring a guy like Braun Breaker into this situation and let him be a part of this faction to, and if you want to, you don't necessarily have to, but if you want Braun to start getting into the mix with those main eventers, this is like a really good way to do that. And then you could start building Braun up the card, because we all know Braun is going to be a real-life superstar. But that's just my take. So my idea is that I believe a new faction is going to end at WrestleMania Night 1, and we are going to see Kevin Owens, Drew McIntyre, and Seth Rollins, and Paul Heyman all in that last match. That's just my thought process. You guys can let me know your thoughts down in the comment section below, because I am genuinely interested to hear your guys' thoughts. This is going to be exciting. I'm very much looking forward to WrestleMania now, with so many different theories that are running through. And, even just the idea that Seth Rollins and Paul Heyman could turn up is absolutely amazing. But again, have to credit Angle. That man was the first man to say this that I heard personally. I could be wrong, but me personally, I heard him say it, and I was utterly shocked, because that never even crossed my mind, considering the fact that CM Punk does have a favor. Now, we could all be completely wrong, and CM Punk just could get his favor, and CM Punk and Paul Heyman could just do their thing. But in my video the other day, when I talked about things being predictable and WWE wanting to do the unpredictable, here's your way to do it. So yeah, guys, that's all I got for you today. My name is Billy TKO. If you guys enjoyed this video, definitely be sure to like it. Definitely be sure to subscribe. I want to say that's all I got for you guys. So other than that, I'll be talking to you later. Peace.